Want to go, pretty boy?
Two minutes by yourself and you feel shame, and then you get free.
The only thing better than a glass of beer is tea with Miss McGill.
And welcome to the Fourth Line Voice Podcast. My name is Darren. Thank you very much for tuning in. Episode 441 of The Big Show, some enforcer-based podcasting coming at you, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. How's everybody doing out there? Oh, it's another Sunday. Yes, wrapping up the weekend. Hopefully everybody had a good one. I have a special guest for you guys today. Yes, it is none other than Quebec hockey legend, Jimmy Burns. Great guest. Had a lot of fun talking to Jimmy. I want to thank him again for coming on the show. He started off in the old Quebec when it was the Quebec Senior League, they called it. And you played a few years there. And then when it changed over to the LNAH, and then, of course, played in the AAA League. A great story. I mean, got started late, got started at 30 years old in the senior league and came from a boxing background and gold gloves. And we talk about that and go down his fight card and talk about different opponents and Jimmy gives his thoughts on them. And it was just a lot of fun. I could have sat for 5 hours and talked to him and just thrown out names and heard stories. And hopefully, like I told him, and I said, and I meant it, I said, hopefully it's not the last time he's on the show. We'll get him on again. And because, there was like 100 guys we didn't talk about. We couldn't get to everything. So, I think you guys will really enjoy it, especially fans in the old QSPHL days. He tells some good stories, but I'm not going to, no one tuned in to listen to me, so I'm not going to talk long. I do have to, we got to do some housekeeping stuff, and I got to alert you on a few things, and then we'll get into it. But as I said at the top of the show, I'm a member of the Hockey Podcast Network. There's over 100 shows on the network. I'm on the original content creator side. Myself, Terry Ryan, TR, Ted Hitchcock from Shoresy. My boy Joe Lazito out in New York, out in Long Island. He does the Coliseum Chronicles podcast, and right now he's on part 2 with Kevin McDonald, former OHL tough guy, played in the minors. Definitely check that out. And then Joe's got a great back catalog. Trevor Gillies, Eric Bolton, Jason Strudwick, Fakota, blah, 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 on and on. So definitely check those out. And then my other podcast that I do with my friends Alec and Jay, it's called the Bruised and Battered Podcast. And it is actually a current minor league hockey podcast. And we talk about that's what we talk about, fighting in the minors and current day fighting. Current day minor league hockey. There's a spit it out. And our most recent guest was Jesse Swanson, fellow Saskatchewan boy. We had him on. He plays in the Federal League, and he's going to compete in Ice Wars coming up here in June. So we talk about that. And young kid just getting his feet wet at the pro level. So keep an eye out for him. So Jesse Swanson, he'd be easy to spot. The dude's 6'7". So but before that, we do news and notes from around the league and our general goofiness on the show. So, but yes, the Bruised and Battered Podcast. It's also on the Hockey Podcast Network, like I said. So please check out that. And also on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Fourth Line Voice on YouTube. Please subscribe. I have over 2,500 videos on there from all different leagues. And subscribe, check it out. Go down the rabbit hole. I think you'll be more than kept busy and all that stuff. And iTunes or Spotify, whatever platform you're listening to this on, could you download it, please? Don't stream. That's how we get paid, is by the download. And could you, at the top, there's that star rating. Could you rate the show, please? It's just a little, you're going to go there and hit play anyway. Could you just please hit the star rating? It helps us out, helps in the algorithms. They like the interaction with listeners. So if you guys could do that, that would be great. But other than that, I don't know. I don't really have too much to say. Again, I want to thank Jimmy for coming on the show. It was great. And yeah. Hey, Darren, shut up. Let's get into Jimmy Burns. I'm going to hit you with a little bit. Like I said, we got to. Hey, folks, we got to keep the lights on here. And they sponsor the show. I'm going to do a little DraftKings ad read, and but then we'll get into it. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Like I always say, I know there's a million podcasts these days that you could listen to, and the fact that you took time out of your day to listen to this one, I greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoyed, if you're new here and you're tuning in to hear Jimmy because you're a Quebec League fan, please check out my back catalog. I've interviewed Dean Mayrad, John Morasti, Curtis Swanson, a number of guys from the old Quebec days. So please, I encourage you to check it out. Dan Kopech, Jesse Razanzoff, on and on. And they were all great guests, and they tell some great stories. So please, check out the back catalog. I think you'll dig it. And yeah, going forward, I hope you become a regular listener. But in the meantime, let's get at it. Here's my conversation with Jimmy Burns. Thanks, guys.
And now, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, basketball fans, are you ready to win some real money? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 dunks on its rivals, including Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players and choose if they will have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Don't settle for a small payout. Switch to Pick 6 and cash in your basketball knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the promo code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to pay $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age, and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms and pick6draftkings.com/promos.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
All right, here on the Fourth Line Voice, I have a special guest, veteran of the old Quebec Hockey League, over 300 career games, over 2,500 minutes of penalties, 350 plus fights. The man, the legend, Jimmy Burns. Jimmy, how you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time out. And I was telling you before we got going, we're going to timeline the career. I was scrolling your fight card here. You get tired reading it. There's so many names, but we're gonna break it down. We'll talk about a few of the characters from the old Quebec League and some craziness that happened. But like every story, we got to start at the beginning. Where were you born and raised? And that was the one thing I was going to say when I was looking up your stuff. It's like I couldn't really find any like junior stats on you, and I know you were a boxer. When did you get did you play hockey your whole life, or did you get to the game late? How did that all start?
Yeah, well, Darren, I'll start up when I played. I'm from Montreal, East End of Montreal. Grew up there, raised and born. There was all the refineries around at the time, and I did play hockey from 4 years old right up to junior. But I didn't continue like the junior A in Montreal East. We had a team. I played always double letters, but I wasn't. And they go into the triple. I wasn't that great of a hockey player. I was very good, but so I stopped playing in the junior A, and I went into coaching for a few years, about 5 years. Coached. In the junior league. It's called what was it called? Well, anyways, I did a few years there. I enjoyed that. And what happened was I got into boxing for about 25 years, on and off. And I came back. I was 2 years laid off, just stepped away from boxing. And I came back and I won the gloves, beat the Canadian champion. I was very good with my fist, athletic, good genetics and all that, and I had good speed, good timing in the ring. So what happened was after that, the senior league came up to me. It was a guy. I was working at the city one night, and he pulled up. He says, "You're Jimmy Burns. Can you mind if I talk to you? I'm from the Dragon d'Iberville." So what's your name again? He said, "Filler." I said, "Yeah, get in, no problem." I was washing the asphalt and making sure everything was okay, the cards didn't pass over. So he offered me to come to the league for the price I told you, a few $100 there, just underneath it. And I said, Bill, I haven't played hockey in about 10 years. And I started with them. And then the following year, the league wasn't going. This team was in the Dragon d'Iberville. They did, I think, that year didn't go too well for the owners, and they ended up folding. And he sold my contract to Bob Burger. So to get back, I didn't play junior at all. Junior A, I played in the league at Montreal. It's a local league. And I was half decent. But then I went into the boxing, and I coached for about 5 years. And I got introduced to the league by Filler, who was working for the Dragon Iberville, who approached me. I said, okay, we'll try it out. And Bob ended up buying my contract the following year. And I started with him. And after that, it just took off. I was like, I did many fights for Laval in a short time span. And I ended up being traded because of a contract dispute. And ended up going to Jonquière, the Condors.
Now, when you started it, like in the Quebec Senior League, it was called the QSPHL back then, and it was. Did you know kind of what you were getting into? Like, did they tell you like, yeah, we need you to come in and like kick people's asses, or was it just sort of an eye opener? Like, oh, I can't believe I have to fight this many times. Like, did you know what was going on?
You know, Darren, I'll be honest with you. I had a reputation in the streets and in the boxing ring as a tough son of a gun, and I could hold my, more than hold my own. I was quite respected, and it took me 5 games before, and it's Carbonneau from Joliet who jumped me, and my coach came up to me at the game. He said, "Jimmy, what's going on here?" The guys they would come, they would look at me. I was a new guy. I had a hard mug. I guess they looked at me and they wouldn't ask me, so I didn't know how to go about the job. And I was a little intimidated. I mean, if you pissed me off, it went automatic. I reacted. But for me to go start a fight, I didn't know how to go about it. I've been out of not on the ice for years. So it was tough for me to get going. And it took, like I mentioned before, it took me 4 to 5 games. And someone else came at me. When he came at me, I took care of business. So that's how I started. And it wasn't easy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you were saying, like a couple of guys that you had on the team, like Pat O'Hara, stuff like that. Did those guys kind of help you out, or was it sort of like, no, you got to learn this on your own?
Well, I think what I noticed, if I look back now, they were there before me, but I don't know. I think they too had little bit of problems, but they did better than me. I didn't even go. I didn't even ask the guy. They gave me pointers. Don't worry, relax. It's going to come. Just get on and you just let the flow go. There was a lot of support from the guys. The guys who did the job pat you on the back. But I noticed once I started to get popular, some of the other guys got a little bit of jealousy. Not much, but at that time. And but great guys. Pat O'Hara was a good guy. You had Julien Rémillard. The guy's a millionaire. His brother owned a team afterwards. And it was funny to watch him. He would get so not emotional, but it was tough for him to get on. He'd take like little ephedrins and to get him. and you'd see him sweating on the bench. And it's Garek, are you okay? I said, Coach, come here. I said, get him on. Get him to do a shift or two. He's going to fucking drop heart attack on you. So we had a laugh about that. And Bob Burger, this guy was a genius on selling his product. The semi-pro tough guy, the Goons in Laval, the House of Pain. They had a big banner up. And I tell you, he knew how to support. He had the CBS, I think, or CTV News, and they did not like a podcast, but interviews. They had me in the penalty box. They had us skating on the ice. And Pat O'Hara and me, we jumped up to, like something like the film Slapshot. And they put that on the news at the time. The place filled up from 1,500 to 25 to 3,000 in Laval. And then it took off from there. But a lot of support from the guys. It was a good guys at the end. But then I noticed, Darren, that he started to upgrade. upgrade with just guys from, a lot of guys from Ontario came down, Saskatchewan, and Bob would go get big boys, you know, and he had some Corey Holland was one of them. I just don't, the names off my top of my head, and a few other guys are tough guys. Came in the league after, and Bob knew how to go get those guys.
Yeah.
And he'd play, and then he'd trade them off. If you didn't do what he wanted, he'd trade you to another team far away, out in the east, right?
Yep.
So he knew how to make the popular. Knew how to make it popular. How to go about it. He was a good salesman, Bob.
Well, we're definitely going to talk coming up here. We'll talk about some of the teammates and some. I'll hit you with some names here, and we'll get going. But like you said, you kind of had the contract, like the money dispute there with Bob, and he ended up shipping you to Changier, and you ended up playing 3 years there. I should also point out, folks, this is 98, 99, and you were 30 years old, starting. That's a late start to get going in pro hockey or senior hockey. But you came out swinging because you led the league in penalty minutes with 348 your first year. So, But
oh, fuck them. Exactly. When I went down there to Jonquière, I was traded with François Lavazur, guy from Joliet, and he got traded. They kept me, and they traded him. But I went like twice a game, every game, and that's when I didn't know that. I fought with Bears once, Mario. Bro, I was suspended, so I didn't get to see him. And once I got over there, after about 15 games, I was switched over to the other side of the league. Jesus Christ, you had Mario Roberge. Yeah, some of the names I forget there, but Mike Bro and Guimont was there. You had Serge, but Serge wasn't there right away. Yeah. Then I had to face these guys like 4 or 5 times a year, It was tough, and then I started to switch up my style, because when I first came in the league, my hands threw quick. I never got grabbed. I come in quick, and I don't think I looked at the fights you had. You had stats. There was this one guy. He knocked me. I had blood from my nose, my mouth, my ear. He hit hard. His name was Bellefontaine. They're 2 brothers. They came from Joliet. And he messed me up the first fight, and I had trouble getting up off the ice. He was, "You want me to get a stretcher?" I said, "Wait a fucking minute here." Give me a minute. The guy dinged me. I was used to doing the show, taking off my helmet, throwing it, and I plant myself, doing a bit of like a spectacle, like I was in the ring. But this guy, I don't remember his first name. He didn't wait. He came in swinging. He's about 250, a big boy, about 6'4". The second time I get on, at the end of the third period, in the middle, he comes coming, and I said, "Oh, fuck, it's going to go." But I stayed far away from him. Bro, I fucked him up, hit him with everything. I had good straight right, and I came back with left hooks. And we went down. We went down hard. I went down on top of him. Big man, he just pulled me into him, mate. He never touched the skates again, never put on a pair of skates again. That was something. And at that time, the 2 biggest rivalries were Joliet and the Chiefs de Laval. The place was packed. I don't know. There wasn't an empty seat in the house at the time, and I remember the stands went wild, and then they loved me. I couldn't do no wrong. I'd lose every other fight after, I think, and a lot of the biker boys were in the fans. And every time I we went down to Sorel, they would fucking kidnap me after a game. Come with us. I like to have a cold beer, So I go there to their place, and bro, it took off to another level, and it was something else. But I looked in your fights, and I didn't see his name anywhere. But that really rocketed me to, like, wow, this guy is something special. And after that, the guy started to tie me up, and I wasn't good with that. I didn't know how to react at first. So I got tired a bit, and I didn't know how to. It took me a few fights. And then I started to hold a bit more, and I remember Roberge, he tied me up, Mario. We went for about 3 minutes, if not more. And he's just popping me with a left, a right, and I couldn't. I tried to. He just locked me up. He just don't forget, he got playing the NHL.
Yeah.
He gave me a lesson. I stood up all the way. I traded with him, but he got the better of me, And he looked at me, because when he was in came to Laval, the first game, someone pushed me into him, and we just went at it, and I got the better of him, but wasn't a real fight. Like, are you ready? Let's go. But I didn't wait. It was fucking Weber, so I just. So he was waiting for me, and what he didn't know, the night before we played in Granby, and I was at the bar because we slept over the hotel. Fuck, I got in the room at 3. Party. So when I got on the ice, I wasn't thinking straight, but I could look when he got on, and I said, "Oh fuck, I'm in for something now." And so when I seen him afterwards, obviously in the years after, because it was in 201 or something. When we see, he always talks about that, and it was I got a lesson there, and I started to switch up on how I went in and fought the guys because of the technique of the Schwetter holding and letting go and hitting. And
yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, I know, obviously, with boxing and everything else, it was like, how did the boxing translate over to hockey for you? Like, were you able to? I was going to. Well, you sort of answered my question for me, just with kind of the grappling or that type of thing, and kind of the jersey play kind of. Did you find it tough that did guys didn't really want to trade with you, and it was more wrestling?
Yeah, at first, yeah. Well, I remember talking to Mario after we got to be friends after a few years there. We had several fights. And he said, "Jimmy, you don't have to. You got to tie up." He says, "You're going to get fucking hit. You're going to get concussions, X, Y, Z." I said, "Yeah, okay, I see your point." And but what did I want to say there? At the same time, where I was at my best is when I was pissed. When I got angry, it would just go. And I was, what boxing did for me, I got one time, Paget, I think, I came in with no respect. I said, this fucking guy, he's a fucking shit. He's cocky, he's arrogant. I'm going to put him in his place. He knocked me the fuck out, bro. Hit me on the chin. I came in there with no respect. Boom, the guy had a punch. He tagged me. So what I wanted to come at there is my point was being sometimes, you got to respect all opponents and not to be too sure of yourself. And sometimes I went in when I was pissed with the boxing. Yeah, I get back to what I was saying. Is it's very rare you tag me solid because I moved well. I remember the boxing. You just swing and you keep your chin down. Little things like that help me out. And I think a lot of fighters like Lenos, Paul Chance, I watched these guys, Mike Bro. When I talked to them, they would study the fights.
Yep.
And they said, "Jimmy, I said, what? I said, hey, fuck, I used to work blue collar, work all week, jump on the plane Friday, go there, 1 practice, 0 practice, put on skates. I put on the skates with the warm-up. I do in the warm-up, and then I play. So I didn't skate all week, never. I got on the ice, do my fights, maybe do a shift in between, which was rare because I wasn't a great player compared to a lot of these guys that played in the Europe hockey and played senior and junior AAA and all that. So, the boxing did help me. And within the years following, I watched certain players and I noticed how they came in, grabbed the shirt. So I started to switch up and hold a bit more. And like I was saying before, when you got me pissed off for a certain reason, if you hurt one of our guys and I told you take it easy, if you didn't, well. And so it depended on the guy I was facing. And it depended how big a puncher he was. Some guys like to wrestle. One guy holds you more. He's strong. One guy would, if he tagged you, you'd probably go down, right? Like the bossy Mike Bro, I think was one of the best, biggest punchers in there. If he tagged you flush, you're gone. I don't care who you are. Another very big hitter, Dan Tice, who played for Sorel. Fuck, did this guy hit? He hit me once. And I tell you, and I could take a punch, and I was ready for it, but he's just so quick. And the 1-2, he's a good, solid fighter, one of the best. You had to watch Dan Tice more than I've seen him knock out guys, a few guys, 4 or 5, and these guys were big guys, and he not a problem, and he wasn't fearful. So a lot of respect for Dan Tice. You had obviously the rare Bergers, but not like Dan. His punch was quick and a lot of snap to it. Put you right out. If you think, even if you could take a punch, he could put you right out, what he did to many of the guys. And Mike Bro, a legend, one of the biggest hitters. Bossy also, but I think Mike would surpass. I think the biggest hitter in the league, I'd have to say, would be Mike Bro. I've been with a lot of Dean Moran, the machine. I fought him. Tough, big, strong guy, very strong, tough. Nothing bad to say about him. I played with him. We've boxed in the ring. We had a few drinks together. Great guy, great guy.
Yeah, Dean's a good dude, absolutely. And but yeah, well, you were saying with Jean-Guerre when you got sent there. I mean, you know, they bumped up your money and they were flying you in, and it was like you were the rock star.
100%. And I tell you, the people. I was in a hotel called the Lac Quidé. It was like a huge hotel. I don't know how many, 200 rooms. They had the club there. And, you know, at the time I was going out, I was clubbing all the time. I was out in the bars, and the people were just amazing. You walk into the place after, and it was awesome. Just the love I felt. And also at the time you had the other teams would go at that hotel. So sometimes I'd meet them in the restaurant where they go eat, and we'd shoot the shit a bit. The first few years was rough because they didn't know you, so they wanted to intimidate you. But once they got to know you, you know the guys, you knew who you were fighting, but every once in a while they got 2-3 new guys coming in the league, like when Link Ginks come in, when Pat Cote came in, when Sugar Sundin came in, some other guys, but these were the most memorable guys. Joel Theriault, when he came in the league, when I started, he wasn't there in the beginning.
Yeah.
But these are names when they came in. Oof, you had to take a step back. You had real fighters with a lot of experience. You're saying, "Oh, can I handle this?" You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
Yeah.
Well,
was something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Dean the Machine, Dean Moran, also when he came in.
Yeah.
John Morasti when he came in.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are fucking top dogs, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't played in 10 years. I put on a pair of skates because I'm just good. I was always athletic, but you know, I'm 6 foot, 6'1" about, and I just had good ability and I had good skills with my hands, not to score a goal, but to fight, right? So
yeah.
I was confident in my. But when you put on a pair and you look at the guy in front of you and you know what he's about, sometimes you say, "Hit that button, whoosh," you know.
Well, like I said, we'll get to. I'm going to hit you with a few names here. Well, that was the thing with your fight card. It was like from the old Drop Your Glove site, so it certainly wasn't complete. They didn't have everything on there. There was only a few, or it was pretty good towards the end. But their early few years, yeah, they're definitely missing a lot of your fights. But the fights that they did have, some of the names I just want to throw at you, and maybe you could, give a little rundown on each guy, but for our French listeners out there, pardon me. I'm from Saskatchewan, the English guy here. I don't want to butcher anybody's name, but I'll try my best here. But yeah, a couple guys. A name that I wanted to hit you with was Rock Isabelle.
Rock Isabelle. I played with him. I fought him 4 or 5 times. Tough guy. I was there. I think he was the number 1 at the time. Had good quality fights with him. Not top tier near the end because so many big names came in. But when the league was in the beginning, Rock Isabelle, he intimidating. You look at him, you knew you had a guy in front of you that would, you look at him, you're in for a hell of a fight. Showed up every time, Rock, and he was my teammate for a long time. And I had a good career with him. That was at Windsor, I think.
Yep.
Yep. That was at Windsor, and I played with him. So, and like I said, not top tier, couldn't go because I don't want to say anything bad about Rock. He was tough. But when the top guys came in, he took it back. He was a little more intimidated, but he showed up. So, yeah, a lot of good fights with Rock. Yeah.
Well, and another name, you mentioned him briefly there, and I mean, anybody that's followed the Quebec League, especially back in the old senior league, but he played forever, and he fought everybody too, and what a showman. He was always putting on a show, was Paul Chance.
Oh, God. Now, I'd seen him. Hey, listen, he was one of the guys, I tell you, to this day, and I see him last year. Anyways, we crossed each other's paths, and he's not a big guy, like intimidating guy. I'll give you this, and if because I know him a bit, this guy was one of the toughest son of a bees to fight, because he would tie you up, wear you down, and if you were 5'5" or you were 6'5", it didn't fucking matter. When Paul Chance got his hands on you, he'd tie you up. I don't give a fuck who you are. And the guys were in for it. I seen him tie up Roberges. I see him tie up Bro. He tied me up maybe 5, 6, 7 times. I didn't want to fight him. Fuck, man. I say, Paul, open the fuck up. He says, I will. But he says, when I want to. And I try, He just was good at it. Some guys, they take it home and practice. I don't know. But Paul, and I was talking to Joel Theriault the other day, because we talk every 2 months, 1 month. And we talked about Paul, and I told him, he said, Jimmy, you're right. I had never seen him get hurt. I mean, I busted my hands. I had to get operated. Paul never got hurt. He fought big guys, even more than 6'5", and he went. Joe told me he fought him. And Jimmy, he says, fuck, he's tough, because he ties you up, and it's just a tough guy to fight. I don't care who you are. But, ask Dean, ask Mike Bro, ask Morasti, ask anybody. A lot of guys didn't want to fight him. I mean, they weren't afraid of him, but fuck, he made any great guy, any tough one-punch champ, look fucking average. And he come out of there looking fucking smelling roses, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That was Paul Chance. That was Paul. One of the best, toughest guys to fight in the league, bar none. And I'm not putting, there's a lot of great fighters out there. He would make you look average. He wasn't a knockout artist, but just one tough son of a bitch. No fear. You look at a guy, size him up, you go in, and so a lot of respect for Paul. When you look at some of the big guys in the league, he didn't go against the Patco, Tasling, Gates. I don't remember any of those fights with him, but the guys he did go, he made him look average. And some of them were really good fighters, like the Roberges, Lenos, what's the big guy there who played the big defenseman, the redhead there? Some of the names. I guess I'm getting older. I'm getting forgetful. I haven't seen the guys in a long time, right?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get to the names.
All right.
Another guy. Well, you fought a bunch of times. Terry Bartlett.
Terry, love, man, yeah, good guy, big guy, intimidating guy. Had some good fights with him. We give and take. I think maybe I came out above him a bit because I had a bit more fluidity with my hands. I had quick hands, and Terry wouldn't tie you up. He'd go toe to toe. So, but a lot of respect. A big kid. I think he had 20-inch arms, 19-inch. A big guy, strong, good character. I mean, you talk to him after the game, he'd be smiling. Black eye or not. I liked him a lot, Terry. He did some boxing matches also against Bruno, Big Bruno, who died a few years back. He played in the league for a long time too, and I was in the corner. But Terry Bartlett, he didn't play that long. I think maybe 5 years or 4.
Yeah.
But we did tie a few on, and he tagged me good. He had a more than a decent punch. But I would give me the edge if but on a good day, Terry, I like him a lot. Great personality, if I could say, But I don't think he stayed in the league that many years to like a Paul Chance, like a Joel Theriault, like a Morasti, or what do you call him, a Dean? These guys stayed in the league till the end, and they're legends,
Yeah.
Whereas Terry, I think if he would have stayed longer, he would have made a mark because he didn't back anybody down, and a lot of respect for Terry. Got along good with him.
Well, another name. Well, you've mentioned him a bunch of times, and you just talked like he was pound for pound, like Mike Bro. I know you fought him a million times. My friend Yuka he has done research on Mike Bro. He's got his fights. I believe he has over 700 fights on video of Mike Bro. He goes, it's unbelievable how many fights this guy had. It's insane. But and like you said, legend in the Quebec circles. And Mike, what like just for to help out the listeners out there, like what's kind of his background? Like, was he a boxer? Like, it looked like, because looking up him, it looked like he didn't really, like you said, they basically kind of taught him how to fight, and then he just started kicking people's asses. Like, where did he come from? Like, you know, what's...
He's from the sector Pont Rouge, Quebec. I think not. Because I went down on, I work on pipelines sometimes. I'm a construction worker, and a fella called me up, says, hey, why don't you go see Mike? He's working at this bar. And so I went to see him, and I'll tell you one about him. One thing, I respected him, but at first I didn't. At first, he was mean. He was intimidating, and me, when you tried to intimidate you, I said, okay, this guy's a real fucking deal. And I said, well, we're going to fucking go, right? But he had that punch. I remember him knocking me on my ass, but I took him down. But just his punch, he just hit me on the top of the head, and with the power of it, he's got fists the size of fucking hammers. I mean, the paws on the guy. And I went down, excuse me, and I brought him with me. But over the years, we had a lot of fights, right? And sometimes I did better. Sometimes we evened up. Sometimes he did better. But one thing I noticed, and I go see him, everybody wanted it. Mike showed up every fucking time. And Mike, I never seen him. I seen him a few times hold, but he didn't know the guy maybe, and the guys were fucking big boys, and you know, you fuck, what is he? Is he so left, right? I don't know. So check him out, right? Every time I seen guys come in the league and they're not known, and Mike would go get on the ice, and I played with him because I was traded to Pont Rouge a couple of games. You look at the coach, go. No fear of this guy. Where he comes from, East End in Quebec, I think it's Pont Rouge. He played for them, but he's from around there. Yeah, so tough guy in the street. One story was told, the guys around me, because I was in the pipeline, and the guys lived around Quebec, around that place, and they said, Jimmy, the guys were having trouble in the park with those guys, some trailer park where you play horseshoes, and you got there for the summer. Guys beating up, bullying everybody around. They got Mike. Hey, Mike, come see this. Just a tough guy from the street. Knocked him out one punch. Guy was twice his size. He was called up in the league, so I was told, because me too, I asked about him, and he was a king. He was a king in the league when I got in there. 98, 2000, I think 2003, Joe came in around that area, and him and Joe, the first few fights were pretty tough fights for Joel Theriault. He was an intimidating guy, showed up every time, went toe-to-toe with everybody, and not a guy to hold much. He would open up because he knew he had that equalizer. Mike Bro, I fought them all, except Pat Cote. I fought Link a couple of times, Dan Tice, for his size. You don't want to get hit more than twice with this guy. He fucking knock you out. What a puncher. But Mike, I think, would eclipse a guy like that. Strong, very physically strong. He's 6 foot. He's my shape, my size, my height. Very muscular, tough, strong, and he's just got the demeanor. I've been in bars with him. We're sitting there. He'll look and talk to you. You don't want to fuck with this guy. Even like me, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'll sit there. I'll joke. You'll feel at ease with me. Mike, you won't. And that's what I sit there and I laugh and I say, "Fucking Mike, man," in my head. I wouldn't say it to him. He's ready to go. And at all times he has that demeanor about him. Don't fuck with me. If you do, we're gonna go. And he doesn't. It's just is every day. This is what I get from him. He told me when I went down to see him at the bar. He was the doorman and the manager. Don't remember the club's name, but we're happy to see each other and have a juice. And I bought him a beer and we talked. And just to watch him, I walked and worked the floor, worked the floor and that, and I got to talk to him. And this is the vibe he gave me. And we're going just 3 years back. I'm 58 now. Mike's, I think, 55. He's looking great. He's in great shape. He's something else. He's something else. I tell you, all the guys that have been there, we got many great names, and you know them. But Mike Bro, from coming from not a hockey player to coming to the league, just a tough guy in the street, knock anybody out with that punch of his, and show up every time. Every time, telling the coach, "Hey, go get me out there." And I seen it, and I went to see him play. He was one of the few guys that I would get off my ass and go watch a game, which was rare when I wasn't playing. Hey, let's go watch it. I don't want to fucking go there. I've got something else to do. But him, Mike's coming to town. And I remember the blue-collar workers. Hey, Jimmy, let's go down to Pont Rouge. The Chiefs are going down and they're playing against Pont Rouge. Because everybody wanted to go see Mike Bro. And they had another guy there. I think his name was LaRue and Guimont. But Mike, he'd fill a fucking stadium, you know. He showed up every time, and he had that equalizer was the punch. And he didn't lose too many fights, Mike. He was a crowd pleaser. Yeah, he could go. Intimidating, and just he had it all. Maybe if there's one thing, if he was a little quicker, because if you could time him, which got me I got the better of him in the ring and on the ice a couple of times because I was just a little quicker, you know.
Yeah.
But he had that equalizer, Darren. He caught you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, another name I go, and he played in the league for a while too, and you fought him a bunch of times. Jesse Grenier.
Jesse, oh my God, Jesse, this guy, yeah. Jesse Grenier. I played in Poirier with Jesse. Another powerhouse. Another. I fought him a couple of times. Just brute strength, and he didn't lose many. He didn't like to go as much as me or as much as Mike. But Jesse, I think he was the top. If he would have went more, because I was surprised. I hit him. He didn't like to get hit. Jesse didn't like to get hit. He liked to play more. Tough, strong, physically stronger than me. I'm not afraid to say it. I wrestled, and one time I got him good, and he had a loose shirt on when he played for Joliet. And I remember Roberge, when they were in the playoffs, it was Game 7. It went to 7 games, and they fought. Now, when Roberge tied you up, there's no fucking way he would lock you up. You couldn't go. You had to go with the left because he knew how to do it, right? But Jesse, the reason I know is because the year after I was traded there, and the owner, the coach said, "Hey, try Jesse's shirt on." Fuck, bro, you could float in it. No wonder he couldn't grab it, right? So getting to my story, he came to Jonquière that year. He was playing for Joliet, and I locked him up, and we're going. But the fucking guy tagged me, bro. He nearly fucking took my head off. He could hit. Whoa! And I said, I'm not getting hit with 3 of these. So I fucking hit him in the eye with like an open palm, but I got his eye good. And bro, he fucking just grabbed me and squished me. I couldn't believe the strength. I just like, holy shit. And that's when I hit him in the eye. And he grabbed his fucking eye, he let me go. I felt like, what the fuck, man? What power does this guy have? I remember that specific moment. And Gaston, after the game, said, Jimmy, would you mind? We got to go get this guy. But Joliet never wanted to let him go. So Jesse wanted one of the toughest. If he would have to fight more. Like when we played in Three Rivers, I would go, and then Jesse would ask, and I'd be on the ice with him, and the guys would go see him, and he'd say no. So, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're less of a man if you say no. If the guy had a fucking the night before was out partying, we don't know what he lived. You have to show up. So then the guy comes to me, let's go. I say, yeah, let's go. What I'm getting at is Jesse wouldn't always go all the time. It's not. He didn't pick his fighters. I asked him once. I was playing. I don't remember for who, and he told me no. I respected it. That's the type of guy he was. He didn't pick his fighters, but if he wasn't pissed off, he'd rather play. He liked playing. So I don't know how far he was, but he went against them all, and he won most of the fights. I think he'd won 75 or 80% of the fights, Jesse Grenier. He won more. I went against him. I give him the edge, an advantage of the fights. I tagged him good. He took good shots. Tough guy. Took a good shot. Had a hell of a punch. I mean, to make you think twice before you step into him, and you had to lock him up. And once I didn't, and he fucking shook my tree. And one guy, you remember Marc Marchand?
Yep.
Okay, me and Marchand, we go down to my first fight with Jesse. We're called to go down to a tournament in Gaspé. So we go down, we're fucking drinking like you wouldn't believe. Marc Marchand and me. And So I'm there, and he says, one of the fans come up to me. It's a round robin tournament. We get the winners get $5,000. Fight as much as you want, or 2-3 fights a game, and so we were loved. The fighters were paid big money for the weekend. So I go down. So I say, okay, who's on Kilo Ball? Who's the good tough guy on the other side? So one of the guys says Jesse Grenier. He's from Chandler. Blah blah blah. So okay. Gaucher Duatier is he lefty righty? Because I was like my second year in the league, and I'm starting to, I'm confident in myself. And you shouldn't have a problem with him, Burns. He's a lefty. So I go, well, what do I do? He says, I heard he can punch. I lock up his left. You know what, Darren? He wasn't a lefty. I found out fucking. He quick. He was a righty. He hit me. I was going down. I didn't go down, but holy fuck. Shook my tree, bro. Marchand came in. You never do this, but he hit me with one, and my lights weren't out, but they were about to go out. And Marchand just grabbed him and got him off his balance enough for me to fucking wake up, And I tied him up, and that was it. And then I said, holy fuck. And then I remember after the penalty, I went back to the bench. Jay, tabarnak, who's the fucking guy? I said it in French. Qui niaiseux qui m'a dit que, who's the fucking guy who told me this guy was a lefty? Fuck, man. Oh, no, I don't know. Anyways, the answer came back. So I went to see Jesse again. And here's my point. Okay, Jess, let's go. Because that's what we were there for. He didn't want to go again. I wanted to, but we had a chance in the league after because it was a tournament to go. But I would have liked him to give me another chance at that game because we had the stands were full, and we were there. So that's the type of guy Jesse was. But I seen him go against some of the names. They came from Ontario, and he stepped up and he took them.
Yep.
And you know what I mean. So
yep.
If he's one of the greats, he could have been, probably would have been, but he didn't go all the time like a Joel Theriault, like a Mike Bro, like a Dan Tice type of guy.
Yeah.
So, but one tough son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, as my friend would say, he goes, "You didn't go down, but you were doing funny things standing up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
Well, I got a name for you here, and this guy's a character. And people, and I mean, he played down in the States for a while in the East Coast League and stuff, and had a good run in the Quebec Junior League with Hull and stuff. But what a pain in the ass, and could rack up penalty minutes like nobody's business. But LP Charbonneau.
Charbonneau. Oh my God. He played for Sorel.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. He's one of the guys I hated the most.
I think everybody I've talked to does. Yeah, that played against him.
Yeah, and I was with Leno. I came back in I don't know, it was a 2A league after I went somewhere, and I came back and I was playing with Leno, Justin and Jamie. And they talked, because Jamie played a lot with LP. I said, I tell you one thing, your fucking friend, is your fucking friend? I'm going to rip his fucking head off. I'm telling you right fucking, I don't know, and I said a bunch of shit. But he's one guy, when he came to Jonquière, he was in the bar at the end, and I lined him up, but he brought there's a woman with him, so I figured it was his wife. A little different than the other guys. He was cocky, he was sure of himself, he was arrogant, and name it all. But at the end, in the end, I ended up respecting him and liking him. But at the time, he dropped. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to drop. Didn't want to fight. And then you have to watch him. He'd come at you. And he's not a small guy. I mean, this guy could fucking go. I went with him a couple of times, but you didn't know. Like, I was known. Take off your fucking helmet. Let's go. Let the guy know. Be fair about it. Some guys weren't. Some guys come at you because they were obviously, I would figure they'd be intimidated. So LP was this type of character for me. If he's one of the tops, nah, he didn't prove himself to me. One of the guys that I seen him say no to more than once was that guy played for he's at the same time as Corey Allen. They had the 3 or 4 guys that played for the Chiefs. Big blonde guy. He asked me once, and I told him, I just looked at him and I refused it. Why I refused it is the night before I used to party hard. when I played hockey, the game, sometimes after the game, I'd go sleep an hour, and I took everything under the sun, and then the next day I'm on the ice, so I'm not top shape. I would like to tell you his name. I just can't come to me. He's a boy from Ontario. He's good friends with Dan Tice. On Messenger, they talk. Anyways, I seen him refuse. LP Charbonneau, this guy could have been one of the best, probably top dog, but he played so well hockey, and so he didn't drop all the time. But he'd be enticing. He'd pick at you because, hey, bro, drop the fucking gloves like a man. That was my point of view at the time. But when you look back and you think about the players, what they've been through, the concussions, all the rest of it, he's trying to entice you to fight, to get you 2 minutes. I think he was just a notch more of a thinker than, trying to get the guy in for his team type player. He wasn't easy to play against, but I think he played his game to trying to entice the guys, to get him to fuck up more penalty minutes. I think he was more of a thinker than a pure natural fighter, like a Bro, like a me, like a Terrio, like a Dan Tice, like a Marasti. These guys will always have the respect because they're true warriors, to the sense where they'll look at you, you're ready, we'll go, we'll be fair, but you're going to rip your fucking head off. And then we'll shake after, but we're going. Whereas LP wasn't. And he's been all over. That's why when he came in, I remember when he came in the league, this guy, I was at Jonquière, and they said, oh, this guy, so I watched him a bit. And then I said, fuck this guy. Yeah, such a big guy, great player. He's fast. He had it all. Good-looking guy, strong, built, fast, hit like a truck, body checks. But when it came to fight, he was dirty. He wasn't fair. I'm thinking to myself, I was a Quebec champion in the ring, and I got the skills. The best thing that makes me tick, that makes me who I am is, let's go, bro. And I look you in the eye, you ready? Yeah, let's go. And you drop the gloves. You good? You good? And we go. Where LP won. You wait till your back's turned, till you're not ready, and then he'd give you a cheap shot, and then he'd take you down. That's the type of guy I remember LP as being. Now, the person today, a lot of respect. We all grow older, but at that time, if you're asking me when I played, this is the image I had of him as a player.
Yep.
That's about all I can say. And I don't like talking bad about anybody because I'm very spiritual, and life goes on, and we all move on to another level of consciousness, if you want and all that. But at that fucking time, bro, in the bar, I was ready to, and he walked out. He left. He went to his room. He had his chick, so. But I was ready, and when the game's over, the game's over. Like, fuck it,
Yeah.
Turn the page. But him, I'd follow him out if I could.
You weren't the only one to say that I've interviewed over the years. Yeah, yeah. But like you said, and that's I gotta appreciate your honesty, because when we're sitting there talking about the guys, I mean, yeah, you're talking about that time frame. In that moment that we're talking about, it's like, yeah, you didn't like these guys, and it's like we're saying, we're not saying this now. But it's like at that time, yeah, absolutely. And but I was going to ask you, when you so we're at 01-02 in Granby. You're playing in Granby, 39 games, 225 minutes. That 01-02, just from an outsider looking in, it seemed like that's when the league really started to kind of go away from that air quote senior hockey and started to kind of become like the Quebec, like the professional league, because you had guys coming up from the minors down in the United States, coming back from the East Coast League and from the United League, and you started getting your Joel Terrios and your Craig Martins and your Louis Bedards and Jason Payne and guys like that. So I mean, you're kind of going away from the locals, and you're starting to get like, I don't want to say legit guys, because everyone was tough, but you know what I'm saying. You're getting guys that have really honed their skills in North American minor league pro hockey. And I just want to ask you a few names there. Well, we'll start with the two I talked about, because I noticed when you got to Granby, I know you fought them in the preseason because they were with Laval. And this guy's I'm a huge fan of both these guys, but this guy's a legend. And he played in that league forever. But Louis Bedard.
Louis Bedard, a great guy. He's a fireman down here now. A lot of respect for Louis. Tough. I'm telling you, he taught me a few things. I played with him in the Chiefs of Laval.
Yep.
And he was often not there. He'd be in the East Coast, I guess. I don't know. And I fought, and then he'd come in, and I had less of a workload. I didn't get to know him too well. And then I ended up fighting him a couple of times. And I think it was the first time we fought, I'm not sure, is when I came to Jonquière, from Jonquière to Joliet in an exhibition game, and I fought him and Craig Martin.
Yep.
Both fights. I didn't look too bad. But the guys didn't want to go. I said, fuck, man, let's go. Luc Carbonneau was with me. Great guy, great fighter. He came back. Because Carbonneau worked a lot. He's a fitter, right? He's a big boss on the pipelines and all that. So he came back. He wanted to join the league, and he said, fuck that, I ain't going with these guys. But he fought LP. No, he fought Bedard. He fought Bedard years. And these guys was fucking putting on a hell of a show. Anyways, I ended up going with Bedard. Lost the shirt, man. He just pumped me fucking lefts, and like one after the other. He got the better of me. A lot of respect for Louis. He fucking hits. He's got a punch. And I asked him again. He didn't want to go, but I think they wanted to keep him in the game. And I wanted it to get my revenge. I mean, he didn't outclass me, but he did better. He tagged me a few more shots than I got him. Clean shots. Nice. He's a great fighter to watch. Exciting. I remember that. And I had no fear, but he fought, let's go. So then next thing you know, Louis gets off. They send in Craig Martin. Oh, my God. So anyways, we'll talk about Louis. So I fought him a couple of times after. And I'd be honest, Louis always came up above. I think maybe... I looked better in one. I don't know how many times I fought him. Maybe under 10 times. Could be 5, 6, 7. But he got the better of me. More action, quicker. The lefty, I don't know. But hello fighter went against them all. Strong, tough, could play hockey, and great attitude. I loved his personality on the ice. Fuck you, let's get her done. And you love them on your team. And some of the memorable fights was him against Mike Bro. What a fucking something to see. And that's Louis Bedard on the ice. I give him a heads up over me, and quite a crowd pleaser. Tough son of a bitch. Yeah, tough guy. And now he's doing great. He's a fireman for Montreal, I think. So because I see him on Facebook and Messenger, and we chat. And I wish him the best. He has a son, and he's doing really well. But back in the day, when Louis was around, you had to, cross your T's, dot your I's, because he'd do it for you.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Louis Bedard.
Well, and another guy that you fought a couple times, and a local guy, and I mean, and he had his ups and downs, and I know he actually had some off ice stuff. I know he got shot a bunch of times, and he's bounced back. But Danik Lassard.
Oh, Lassard, yeah, Danik. Okay, I was thinking maybe you're going to say Lambert, but he's not around here. Yeah, Danik Lassard. Whew. Danik, tell you, he started off slow. He came in a bit after me. I think he played for the Chiefs.
Yep.
And near the end, we fought more. I don't remember fighting him much in the beginning. He was in a couple of the tournaments. We went in Quebec. And this guy from Ontario, the other guys, he was knocking everybody out of. And I said, let's go. He said, no, Dan wants to fight Lassard. So fuck, I fight him all the time. Anyways, I guess he wanted to watch me fight Dan. And anyways, long story short, we went at it many a times. He bulked up a lot at the end. Tough. Good puncher. Solid. I seen him get hurt once. Dan Tice, man, you could surprise any of them. He hit you on the button. Dan put him down once, solid. But Lassard, I'd say he's in the top. Like, look, if you mention all the fighters, in the top 20. Top 20, I could be ahead of him. He could be behind me, depending on which fight you watch, But tough. Ellie, at the end, what I noticed about him when I was playing in Three Rivers, Yannick, That Nick, he fucking came and I blocked him the right. The fucker hit me with a left and he opened up just like a Marasti or not a Marasti, like Bedard. And he fucking nailed me, got me good. Shook me a bit and I was surprised. He switched up. He could switch in the beginning when he was in the league. He couldn't switch like that. Like he'd go right. So you didn't have to worry about the left. Use it like me. I come in with a hook or a straight jab and then shake you with the right. Whereas Danik would hold you and then he'd go. So I didn't have to worry about the left. But now, he grabbed it with the right and hit me with the left, which I wasn't expecting because I was used to that. He did it once. The second time he didn't do it no more. I was up to it, right? You know, I got wise to. So he worked on it that much that he switched up and he became a better fighter because of it. And tough. He's one of the top. I think he has over 500 fights, this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You know, and he could go. In the beginning, like I said, I think he was above average, but not much more. In the end of his career, he was a top dog. He was up there with the top 5 at that time, you know?
Yep.
Like he go number 1 and he just improved that much, put that much more muscle on him, and just mean
Yep.
on the ice.
Well, another guy that I want to ask you about, and of course he's coaching in the East Coast Hockey League now with Cincinnati, and tough guy, and he played in the OHL and then bounced around the American League and the East Coast League, and you fought him a couple times, but Jason Payne.
Jason Payne. He did some boxing, eh? Did he? Do you know, Darren?
I'm not quite sure.
Jason Payne. Wait a minute. He didn't play that long, eh? I don't think. Is it? Maybe I'm mixing him up with. Who'd he play for? Jason. I know the name. I think I seen him he fought Bro. Now he's. Okay. Now I'm getting. Because I seen him as a coach. Is he still coaching now?
Yeah, he's coaching Cincinnati in the East Coast League. But okay. he was the black guy that played for Verdun and the Quebec Radio X.
Okay, yeah. Because there's another one. If it's the Jason Payne I'm thinking about, because there's maybe 2. One was a boxer, and one came in the league. He wasn't in the league long. Was he in the league long?
No, no, not really. I mean, he played in the LNH and like with Verdun and Quebec Radio X and 04, 05 and stuff. But when you fought him, it was with Verdun in 2001, 2002 was when you first fought him. But he only played like 19 games, and then he went back to the East Coast League. Okay.
Now I know who you are. Know who you mean. Yeah, I good guy. Had a good fight. If I remember that fight, it was in Quebec, I think. And open fight, and he could hit. Not over, not a great puncher, but enough to get my respect for sure. But I didn't fight him enough, and I didn't see him enough in the league. But I did see him at the gym with some of the boys, like Joel and that, and we talked outside the gym. I'm talking about Flip the Bucks champions, where a lot of the guys. Dean went to. John, who played with Dean, they used to roommate him, Sorrell, who passed away. He passed away last year. Big John. Anyways, they were all together, me and Jason Payne. We talked outside, and he said, "Jimmy, I thought you were a bigger guy." Well, I said, we wet the shoulder pads, eh? And great attitude. So if I have something to say as a fighter, I didn't fight him that many times to have an opinion on the ice. But all I can say is he didn't turn away. The impression he gave me is he was sure of himself, and I think I surprised him with what I got him with. And we did talk about that, I remember, and he was saying, I'm repeating myself, that he was surprised at the size I was when he seen me in person. Like he thought I'd be bigger,
Yeah.
And so the gentleman, and I'd say he's a decent fighter, but I didn't see him enough, more than a year or 2 in the league. So I couldn't really base it as a tough guy, but I know he got the respect on the ice. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, another guy, and I mean, the people that have watched the Chiefs documentary that came out this year, this was the year that the documentary came out, and of course he was one of the main figures in the documentary playing for Laval, and he ended up playing in the league for quite a bit, and he was Mike Bajorny.
A journey, yeah. Oh, Mike, for sure. I remember Mike. We had the classic. We played back-to-back games. Mike, the journey. I was in Granby, and I asked him. I asked him to go. We played in Laval. We didn't go. And anyways, he got the better of me that fight. But journey, I seen him. Well, me and him, he won. I fought him once, I think. I don't remember him fighting the second time. I asked him for a rematch in Granby. He said no, but I realized why, because when Bellefontaine fucked me up, there were still some guys around that remember I fucked him up, never touched, broke his the bone in the cheek and that, and so they said Burns, when he's pissed off, this is my perception of it, that he didn't want to go back because I seen him fight guys. He fought them all new guys, especially when Verdun would come and play the Chiefs, and I wasn't there no more. I was out in Jonquière, so sometimes I'd be able to see the games, and I'd go see them play. And I think it was Laurando. He would get guys from the East Coast, American League, to come down. I didn't know you were allowed that. And Bajurnian, these guys are good fucking fighters on the other side. He stepped up to the plate all the time, this guy. I don't know him well. I fought him. He got the better of me. I asked him. He didn't want to go again. I get it. You know, you feel good. Your team's ahead. Fuck you. I get it. So I got nothing but respect for him, because when I did watch him fight other fights, the guy always showed up, never backed down. I remember the guy I played in Granby with, Lacroix, who, you know, he played in Quebec. His dad was the general manager for Colorado, and he came and played with us. Lacroix, tough guy, great hockey player. You know who I'm talking about?
Daniel Lacroix, yep.
Yeah. Okay, so he ended up fighting Craig Martin on the face-off. Craig asked him off the face-off. Lacroix said, "Don't fuck, you know, I'm not a fucking tough guy. You're going to want to play." So anyways, they end up going. Lacroix did good. You know, fucking Lacroix, he's top notch. Showed me a few pointers when I was with him. And Bajurni came out right after him, after the next shift, or 2 shifts after, whatever. No fucking way, you know, because he made Craig, he got the better of Craig, and all the best. I mean, what a fighter. And then Bajurni came right after him with no fucking respect, and I could see that Lacroix was like a little intimidated, wasn't prepared for that. It went good. It was a pretty even fight. So on Mike Bajurni, showed up all the fucking time, never looked bad. You know, tough guy. The punch, like I said, the punchers that impressed me in the league. I took Mike's punch decent, and it shook me, but the punchers in the league, I'll always say Mike Bro, Dan Tice, Steve Bussy, Joel Morasti. These are fucking punchers, you know. These guys, Dan Tice and Mike Bro, they'll take your lights out. That impressed me with their punches. So Bajurni, being because he's a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 6'3", 6'4". I'd say 240. I mean, he looked like that anyways. And tough guy. There was another guy I played with him. I can't get his name too. These two, when you seen them coming, I had to be fucking ready, you know. And Mike Bajurni, all the respect. He played in the league a long time. Never got outclassed. Big guy, handled himself very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another guy, I'm a huge fan of this guy, and he played a long time in the league. You know, a local guy, Manny Frechette.
Manuel Frechette, yeah, old man. He was a lefty, bro. Yeah, something else. I went a few times with him, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5, and wow, they were good. I'd go open with Manny. I remember that, open good fights. Yeah, made me look good, and one time he looked really good. Another couple of times, this guy, and I seen him go against Link Gates, made Link look bad. Link being such a big guy. And Manuel went with everybody, and he was a fighter, a fucking natural fighter. I think he's a better hockey player than me. Played hockey, but just a tough guy. Works in construction too. Because I always ask, when I'm interested in a guy, I want to know about him, pick up some information. I'd always ask, but yeah, Jimmy, he supposedly has his own company, if I heard right, a few years back. And as a fighter, you had to respect him because he was quick, had not a great punch, but it wake you up. Like, you don't hit you twice on the same spot, you're going down. Tough guy, very quick and athletic. Like, I think he'd adapt to any style, Manuel Frechette, because he wasn't a big guy, not much smaller than me, but athletic, I guess, because he turned on a dime and he could go, So yeah, I got to respect him. We never talked much, me and him, but I think he kept to himself a lot. He liked to, like a lot of fighters do, don't want to fucking know you, don't want to talk to you if you're playing against the guy.
Yeah.
You want to keep that distance. You want to keep that cold. I'm not here to be your friend. I want you to be intimidated so my team will get the 2 fucking points.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's what he gave off to me. Competitor. Really, quite the competitor.
Yeah. Going for like 0203, like we were saying, after the documentary came out and a lot of the teams started, like you said, getting guys from around the, different professional leagues in North America. What was kind of the, again, from an English person on the outside, just kind of watching the league, and what was kind of the feeling amongst you and the kind of, I guess, whatever you want, the locals, like the local Quebec guys? Were you happy about like a Chad Richard or a Craig Brunel or Marasti and Mayrad and all these guys coming in from the minors, or did you think the league should have stayed local? Like, were you happy with it, or like what was the kind of the feeling with the fans and stuff, or they didn't care, they just wanted to see the fights? What was the feeling?
Okay, that's a good question, Darren. I think in the beginning, I don't think it was appreciated. This is my opinion on it, but I think it got more into it later on in the league. In the beginning, was a lot of Quebecers, and like you said, and I think it was Bob Berger that opened up that door, if I remember correctly, because a lot of them played for the Chiefs, and they would stay at the Laval. They would stay in that the arena. It was huge. It was the Colisée, that's what they called it. So to answer your question, I think in the beginning, yeah, but it didn't last long. I think the fans warmed up to them, and because the fans enjoyed, and these guys brought it every time. You're looking at Corey Holland, because I fought him, I played with him, I partied with him, we talked. Great guy. I love this guy's attitude. Bergerne, I didn't get to know him, but just the small bit I did talk to him, I would have liked him easily. Easy people to get along with, straight shooters. And listen, I mean, trying to remember another guy, because he played with them. He played with Bergerne, and he played with Holland. I just can't remember his name. He asked me to fight. I do not remember his name, and I refused him. And I always regretted that, but I partied the night before. We played them, and when he asked me, I looked at him and I said, "Fuck, not this guy, man. I want to be ready, 110% before I drop the gloves against this." I just can't get his name. I've been trying to. The whole time
I could throw like DeGers, Rozanzov, Kopech.
No, he played for the Chiefs though.
Yeah,
Mike, was it Mike something?
Mike DeGers?
No, I think it was Mike.
There's Mike Henderson.
That's it, Anderson. Yeah, Mike. He was a tough guy. And coming back to Mike Anderson, him. I watched him fight a couple of times. I watched him go with Roberge, and big guy, easy, very confident. And when he asked me, Mike, I remember I was playing, I think it was Granby, and he lined up beside me and he asked me, and I don't know if I should look to my head, but I never got to tell anybody, like, if they've seen it, like, "Hey, Jimmy Rechuse, well, this guy's top dog. I'm not going to fucking fight him if I'm not top shape." And I never told the story to anybody. I'm telling it to you now. And him, I remember LP, because LP was cheaping fucking guys left and right. Henderson went right up to him and fucking cross-checked him. And I remember this. I was in the stands in Laval, and the guy shit his fucking pants. I seen it. I was there. I was like, I said, fuck. So in my head, I said, if LP's intimidated by this guy, I said, he must be something. So we didn't play often against him, and when they did, so I keep my eye open for him. I was ready, but at that time, talking about Anderson, Mike, I refused him because of the night before we fucking partied hard. And I said to myself, so they'll be coming back to Laval and the Ontario boys or Saskatchewan, and because you had Brad Lambert that was in that. I don't think he came from Ontario, but the guys at the end, after a few fights, after about 5 games, everybody loved them. The stands were packed because of these guys. And when you got to know them, you got Mike, you got Berjourney, you got Corey Holland, just these 3 great guys to talk to get along with. And I remember we played in Granby, Craig Martin and all those guys, Henderson. Fucking had. When you're a fighter and you're sitting on the bench and you say, "Oh my fucking Jesus, which one's going to come after me tonight? When I get on the edge, who's going to get the call?" And I'm like looking across. Oh my God! I said, "Okay, it is what it is, right?" So, anyways, the game we finished the game. I don't remember who I fought, what happened, but we lost. For in Granby. So we go. I'm with Yasenza. He's a fireman. He's an Italian guy. Played for Granby. So the Chiefs had a local bar, right in the arena. So I said, I'm going to fucking drink. He says, fuck, are you crazy? It's their bar. They're there. I said, fuck it, come on, man. Game's over. And me on my feet, I was so fucking confident, you know. And I know in my heart, a fight's a fight. Fuck it, the game's finished. Unless you fucking really cheap shot at the guy, it's not going to be a problem. But Yasenza, he says, well, go see Mike and see if everything's okay. I laughed. I didn't laugh in his face, you know. But I remember, hey, Mike, is everything okay? I don't know what you had with. He says, hey, fuck Jimmy, the game's over. I remember this like it was yesterday. And we went in and I said, come on, let's go have one. It's not a problem. And we ended up drinking at our own table, but their little bar, it was a local little bar, and fuck it, and then we get sloshed. We had a great time. All the fighters together. They were amongst themselves, but I don't know, for some reason, anywhere I went, it being Quebec, it being Pont Rouge, I always mixed with the guys well. Only one place was Thetford Mines. I don't know why. Go to the bars after, the guys was fucking not in front of my face. My buddy told me, you know, when you had your back turned, X, Y, Z. But anyways, you can't say to the guy's face, it ain't worth much, right? That's what I always said.
Yep.
So, yeah, to answer your question, the Ontario boys, or whoever came out of Quebec, in the beginning, but it didn't take long. They were loved, they were respected, and in Sorrel, Dean the Machine, he couldn't do no wrong. Morasti couldn't do no wrong. I mean, Jesus, the guys were loved. Big John, can't remember his name, he passed away. He was, I don't know if he's from Quebec, but... Oh,
John Hewitt?
Yeah, that's it. Big John Hewitt there, you know. Yeah. And too, he was liked and... Berger, he would bring in the boys. It was mostly Bob Berger, and then if you traded him, you know, they were traded after a while to get fresh blood because he knew how it worked, Bob. He had the good mentality of how to run the club. You get these big players. When he went to get Pat Cote, they named Rabé, who played defense for the big guy. He fought Lynx. He fought didn't lose too many. Mathieu Rabé, Pat Cote, Sugar Sundin. Oh my God, fucking Mike Henderson, Corey Holland, Berjourney. I'm on the other side with who? Hey, fuck! I said, fuck! I'd be sitting there when he gave me the tab, man. You had to be ready, bro. Some of these guys, when they started getting up, and I was getting up in the age, I mean, I always had good hands, but you're hitting a guy at 250 naturally, and you're 210. There's a big difference.
Yep.
So you had to, you know, you had to be sharp. You had to be ready. Sometimes I wasn't, so I might have refused a fight or two because of that reason. Because the guys were that good, and next thing you know, you got a concussion. So you had to be aware of who you were fighting when these bigger guys came in. The Ontario boys, when they came in the league, they meant business and they put on a hell of a show, right?
Absolutely.
So. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, I loved it. I'm a competitor. And I always said, sometimes I wouldn't think too much of protecting my guys. I would focus too much on the guy across, and I wanted to give a show. And that, to me, hurt me in the end because some of the guys I was traded, and fuck you, I'm going to fight this guy, I'm going to fight guy. One-on-one, who's the better guy? That I thought of that a lot because I like the competition. See what you're made of, and then you got me good. You shook my tree. If I shook whatever it may be, I'd look at the guy and I say, "Hey, respect. You got my respect now," and that's what I really enjoyed. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I love the adrenaline rush of the fight, basically. So, and these Ontario boys, they like to go.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Well, when you were playing at Windsor, I wanted to ask you about a couple teammates with Windsor. One that went on and played quite a bit in the league in the LNAH after he was just a young guy at the time was Simon Robidas.
Simon, yeah, a defenseman, I think, eh?
Yep.
Didn't he have a excuse me, pardon me, a brother that played in the up in the big times? No, in the big show. Robidas? No.
I believe he did. Yes.
Yeah. Eh? Okay, Simon Robidas, defenseman. Yeah, I played there. Rocky Isabelle, Simon, quiet guy, reserved, good hockey player. He played for the team, fought a couple of times. He didn't drop the gloves often, but best player, team player. And that's about it. That's all I could say for Simon. I didn't play there too long, but the guy was a tough. I remember him asking Link, and I don't know if Link turned him down for whatever reason. But listen, I was the guy who dropped all the fucking time. So him behind me, but he's a hockey player and good defenseman, solid guy, back up his guys 100%. I didn't see him fight too often, but when he did, you had to respect him because he could go. As a fighter, he could go, and you had to respect him. As a player, great hockey player, good hockey, good defenseman, solid hitter.
Do you remember?
That's about it.
Do you remember a guy named Chad Gagnon?
Vaguely. Not much. No.
Okay, that's no problem. Well, this time in the league, like you said, this is when like we were saying, guys are coming into the league, and there's a couple guys here that I want to ask you about because, we talked about Dean Mayrad. For those listening, if you don't know, please go back to my back catalog in my show. I've had Dean on twice, and he tells great stories, and his journey through pro hockey is unbelievable. And he's doing movies with Justin Timberlake in the off season. Oh, you should go listen to the episode. Wow. You'll love it. It's great. He was with Bob Probert, and he tells a good story. But one of the guys I wanted to ask you about, and of course he went on to be like a legend in Quebec, was Jacques Dubé.
Jacques Dubé. Oh Christ, we went. Great guy. Another great. There's so many. I want to say one thing about the fighters. A lot of respect, but a lot of good-hearted guys, and just good people. Like to shake your hand, like to look at you in the eyes, and straight shooters. And I could say that about almost 100% of them. And Jacques Dubé, I fought him toe to toe quite a few times. And just a warrior. Seen him fight Dean. I seen him fight Joel. I asked him. We went. Just a pure. Fuck, he fought them all. Didn't refuse anybody. And he's another. Didn't have Mike Bro's punch, but he couldn't really play hockey. Skate well, but he got on the ice and just developed slowly. And some fights. He wouldn't look too good because he lose his balance. It wasn't because he hurt him, because he just wasn't that solid on his skates. And as he got better and more games under his belt, he became quite the tough guy and started to get more respect, because now he could stand up and skate pretty decent. And tough guy. He's hard to fight. He wouldn't refuse anybody. Yeah. So, as a fighter, he would go. But, when he got the guys with a lot of experience, you could see the difference.
Yeah.
I'm talking the big guns, like he went against fucking Pat Cote. I mean,
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ, Pat Cote is a monster. He's a wrecking machine. He comes to our league. I'm sure he's not at the same level he was in that. But when you see a guy like Dubé doesn't even flinch and steps up in front of him, that fucking speaks. That speaks volumes. And this guy had those type of fucking balls on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, no fear. That's when I think of Jacques Dubé. I mean, I know a bit about his history out of on the streets. So he's something you didn't mess with. A tough guy in the streets, but on the ice is another game, right? And you could get seriously messed up out there. A guy hits you, you fall on the ice, stuff like that. The guy locks you up, comes in, and you could get hurt, seriously hurt. So, and knowing that, and I've seen him step up to tough fuckers where I'd second guess it. I'm not saying I'd say no, but and he'd step right in or not. I know he's a bigger guy than me and all that, but just this is the character of the man you're talking about. So just in that, knowing that he didn't come from a hockey background, and to do what he's doing and do it well, and everybody's saying his name in Quebec, especially at the don't forget he played in the Colisée, the old where the Nordiques played years ago.
Yeah.
So the place was jam packed, man. They had him with Jason. There's another guy that was a good player too. Jason.
Jason Rushton.
No, not Russia. He was another tough son of a gun. Oh. But,
Jason Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton. That's Jason Hamilton.
Yeah.
So these guys would fill the fucking place up, and I was there a few games. I got traded there. I stayed about 4 or 5 games, and I don't know. I was doing different things at the time, and I didn't end up going back. But Jacques Dubé quite made a name for himself coming up from, like I said, I'm repeating myself, but he impressed me so much. Well, after a couple of years, I see him, and then I'd see who's playing. And off the bench right up to Pat Cote. Attends, peu, là, qu'on dit, hello, this guy could fucking knock you out. I mean, you remember that big guy, Varag, who played in Granby?
Mike Varhog?
But yeah. Okay?
Yep.
Fucking Pat Cote hit him, broke his legs, he knocked him out.
Yep.
Before he hit the ice, he was out. Messed him up so bad he didn't play the rest of the year, bro.
I know. Yeah.
So when you know you're fighting a guy like that, Darren, you're going to be fucking hesitant, or you got to be on your top-notch game. This is what I'm saying.
Yep.
And what impressed me is he would walk in there against a guy like Pat Cote, who's got all the experience and he's a monster of a man, and he could fight and hits like I never fought him, so I don't know. He must have had a hell of a punch, and he go in there. So to me, I'm saying this guy's got a pair of balls on him, right? So that's who Jacques Dubé was for me, and I seen him in the boxing ring against Dean. Great fight. These guys, I'm telling you, I seen Dean fucking knock people out in the ring there. I put on the gloves at him. I moved so well. He's a specimen of a man. Dean the Machine Moran. I mean, I looked at him. I looked at my trainer. I remember it was Paul. We had the same trainer, by the way. And at that fight in the boxing match, me and Dean were in the same room getting prepared. We were buddies. We sparred together and we prepared. But in saying that, when he got in the ring and I got, this is a real fight now. I looked at I remember coming back to my corner and I said, fuck, Paul, man. Or I say it in the room. This fucking guy's huge, man. When you got him in front of you, like, we just got our boxer shorts on. We don't got the equipment on. So I had a lot of respect for Dean, and I seen him mess up Joel, and I talked to Joel about that. I know we're talking about Jacques, but just off for a second, because me and Joel, we talk, we see each other, and we sit down and have talks. And and I said, Joe, he asked me, I said, Joe, you fought Dean, right? He says, yeah. He says, he's a big fucking guy. I said, yeah. He says, you fought him too, eh? I said, yeah. I said, went well. I said, I outpointed him, but fucking strong. He says, fuck. He said, Jimmy, he's strong. He hits. He hit me and knocked me out. He stopped him, I think, in the second round, and they fought twice. But he didn't want to talk about it too much. But he had respect for him. So I'm thinking if Dean fucked up Joe in the ring with just how he hit, because I sparred with Joe too, and we didn't have a real fight, because a real fight's not like sparring. But what impressed me is that he knocked out. And Joel, when he talked about it, even like to this day, because it was not long ago we talked about it, and Joe just was impressed about the size he was and that. And I didn't ask. I wanted to ask, hey, Joe, and I you know what, Darren, I'm going to ask Joel. I said, Joel, on the ice, how'd it go? I don't know if they ever fought, because I never checked. But Dean had that, and the thing about Dean, a nice guy, a fucking nice guy.
Yep.
The guy's he's not a small man. I mean, he's fucking size on this guy. He's naturally a big boy, and just a nice, you know. And to win when he fought against and he won that tournament there, but nice attitude, because we partied together, we talked, we fought together on the ice and in the ring, and all around nice, real gentleman, nice guy, you know. And I think what I want to get at is I think me and him were more friendly in the boxing ring. Whereas Rasmussen is a friend, and he said, Jimmy, he was at the fight in Quebec when I fought in Gaspé, not in Quebec. When I fought Dean, and he said, you guys, it wasn't like Joe and these guys hated each other. And then I got it. I said, okay, fucking Dean wanted to rip his head off. Whereas me and Dean, we went at it for real, but a lot of respect there. And I think that was the difference. Because I couldn't imagine Joe getting knocked out, because he's such a tough son of a bitch. So if Dean did it, and when Joe talked about it, the way he talked about it, just give you food for thought, you know. You figure, you see the guys, and you see it when you talk to a gentleman about the other, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? And then you see him reliving it in his eyes and his face, because I do it all the time, because I've been in so many fights in the ring and on the ice. And you see certain characters, you say, oh, fuck. Or when you look at the guys, you know he respects them. And so Jacques Dubé, he won against Dean, and you turn it around, just to tell you, Dean stopped Joel in the ring, and Joel knocked out Jacques Dubé, you know? And
yeah.
I didn't see the other fight. I didn't see Joe and Dean, but I seen Jacques and Dean. It was a hell of a fight. Two big men there. And I was on that card, and I fought Louis Bedard. And I fought him twice in the ring. I fought him about 3-4 times on the ice. And so fucking warriors. We go out in the summer, and we get these fights, and we make a few bucks. And the guys would train hard. I remember Corey Holland, Dean coming down, Rasmussen come down to Champions Boxing Club, and we all spar, you know, getting ready for the fights.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And we do it out of respect and friendly, but, you know, and so we're there for the money, right?
Yep.
And you got to give a lot of respect to the guys who get in and out, train all the time, taking the shots, getting out there, living their lives. Some got kids, working, and all the rest. So it's quite the show.
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, Dean's a great guy, and I've got to know him a little bit over the years, and he actually owns his own boxing gym now in Slave Lake, Alberta, called Titans Gym, and he's doing that, and good dude. And well, like I said, I talked to him before I talked to you, and he was like, "Oh, Jimmy, good guy," and he goes, and he talked about boxing you, and he said he didn't know. He goes, "Well, his skills were a lot better than I thought they were going to be," and he's like, "Yeah, he got me," and he goes, "But yeah, he said he was really good." But no, you're right. Yeah, Mayrad fought Joel on the ice number of times, 8 or 9 times, like lots.
Okay, and how did that go?
They're pretty good. Yeah, like it's, but I would, they definitely. Well, I mean, that's two big bulls clashing right there, man. Like
fucking right.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Well, speaking of a guy that you fought a whole bunch of times, and unfortunately he passed away here in the last couple of years, but bad dude, man, Sebastian Cyr.
Yes. Oh, fuck Sebastian. Yeah. That was. You know what? I also worked with him because for 3 years stint, it was quiet, and I went as a rod buster, steel worker at Local 7, the 7-Eleven, and there's the iron workers and rod busters, and he was a rod buster. And I fought him on the ice a couple of times, but I see him in person, got to know him. Really good guy. And a guy you didn't want to fuck with because he walked around with a sense of, like Mike Bro a bit. You look at him, Mike Bro, even friendly, is intimidating, not to me, but he's always got this attitude like, fuck with me, I'll rip your head off. And this is my feeling. This is my perception, you know? Whereas, and like Sebastian Cyr, I fought him a couple of times, and I think he's better than me on the ice, a little bigger than me, and better skills on the ice than me at fighting. I give him the edge a couple of times. I fought him maybe 5 times, and good fights, open fights all the time. And I fought him once injured, and he got me good, but we went for about a minute and a half. But I didn't give a fuck because I could take what he could give me, but he looked better than me, and it bothered me. But so I didn't go again. And when I got better, I went at him again, and the fucker did the same. So I said, "Fuck!" I was a little teed off at that, but and one time I got him good. But altogether, I'd say he's one of the top dogs. And if he would have continued, I think he was in the Army, he'd go off.
Yeah,
he'd go off for a season, come back. Tough son of a bitch. He had that soldier mentality. Soldat. He's a warrior, a soldier for his team, and get her done. I wasn't there at the game, but I was told the story in right away when the Chiefs were loaded with the lineups at the time. He got a penalty, come up from the ice, jumped into the penalty box. I said, "Fuck, get the fuck out of here." He said, No, Jimmy. Jumped in, the penalty, looked over at the other team, the guys in Laval, and just pointed. And as soon as one came out, he went after him, and didn't look too bad. Because, don't forget, they all had top dogs at Laval. At the time, who we fought, I don't remember. But much respect. And, if he would have continued, I think he would have been the top for a long time. Just tough, durable guy. He was starting out. Don't forget, at the end, I was a little older than the guys. That I lacked speed or not, the guy he had something over me. On my best day, if he's on a bad day, maybe I look good, That's my opinion of me fighting him. As other fighters, I've seen him fight. I heard John Morasti, he tagged him good once, but John came back and got him back.
Yeah,
John,
they both tagged each other. Yeah, Cyr got him the first time, and Morasti returned the favor the next time.
There you go. And John's like that. John, when I played with John, played not a full season, and John would say, "Okay, Jimmy, go fight so and so." So I go out there and fucking, because maybe I don't know if John fought him or not, but it's a true story. And any time I'll mention it in front of John, who I have much love and respect for, him and Dean that watched to be on the same bench as these guys. I'm 6'3" on skates, while I'm 6'7", 300 pounds, because these guys are behind me. That's how much having great fighters with you when you got that job, you're back.
Yeah.
So I go fight, and then he checked the guys like Varag. And John said, "Okay, we're going to do this." And if you ever talk to him, ask him about this. We're in Sorel. And so Varag is on the team. I hope I'm saying his name right because I have trouble. The big guy who played for Granby.
Oh,
and,
Mike Varhog. Yep.
Yeah, big Mike Varag there. But John says, "I'm going to get him to come in, and then you step in between us." So that's what I did. That's what we did. And I went with, I had fought him before, the big guy. He got the better of me. And this time I tagged him with a good left hook. But, it was pretty even. Okay?
Yeah.
The next thing, so I think John, what I'm getting at is John backed up. John was quick, man, like that. And I give him that. He'd watch you once, twice, once at least, for sure. That's all he needed. He'd size you up, John. And then I sat on the bench, and then, you're watching the game. Obviously, we're playing this game, hockey. And then it's the guy gets back on, and Mike gets on, fucking John. Bro, man. He didn't toy with Mike, but he tied him up, did everything, got him in close range. The guy's 6'9" or 7 or 8 on skates, man. John would block his shots, pull him in, tie him up, and pop him. I mean, you see the size, the height difference?
Yeah.
That's the fucking technique that this guy had. The intelligence of this guy as a fighter, John. You know?
Yep.
He'd watch you. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he won over 90% of his fights.
Yep.
I mean, he's something, and with such style, right? I mean, Steve Bossy might have had his number, but John didn't slow down. He'd go open all the fucking time. He went with Joel Theriault and stuff like that. I mean, when you get to play with guys like that, I'm a tough guy. I'm used to being the number one. I'm used to being the tough motherfucker. Step outside, and I always was like that. But then, at one point you turn around and you say, hey, you're not the young gun anymore. And then you watch these guys, and I was in awe. I was impressed. Him, Dean, John Hewitt, and especially Dean and Morasti, because I played with them and I seen them go. And anyways, so I had to throw that out there about Morasti, because to see him tie up a guy like that and to get the betterment easily, I was impressed. I fought him a couple of times and I couldn't do it. And he did it one time. He seen him, and I don't think they fought before. And they seen each other. They crossed each other's paths. I think it was the first time. So I was impressed. I don't remember if I talked to John about it because we went out and had a couple. John was very serious, very professional. He wouldn't go out and party. He was very, as I remember, Morasti, Dean, me and Dean, we went out and we partied a bit. We didn't, not much, but we did. But Morasti, very, very low key. Go have a quiet beer in the bar and be out on his way. That's what I remember of John Morasti. Whereas Dean was a bit like me, or I was a bit like him.
Well, the name I got to ask you, because of course we're going to talk. This guy never went quietly anywhere, and of course everyone loves the stories. But you fought him a couple times. You ended up being his teammate in Trois Rivières for when he was there briefly. Was of course the missing link, Link Gates.
Yeah. I don't want to disappoint the fans here, but there's no buts. I played Three Rivers with him. That's why I got to know the man. But before I played him with him as a teammate, I fought him, and I was intimidated when he first came to Jonquière, and he was on the ice, and I said, "Oh fuck!" And I was playing for Jonquière at the time. He was playing, I think, for Gilou, if I don't remember. So I get on, and Gaston Drapeau taps me on the shoulder. Said, "Jimmy," and I said, "Oh fuck!" Swear to God, I go up to this guy, Link Gates. He just got in the league. I don't know how many games he was in, 10, 15 games or 5 or whatever. He looks at me, bro. The guy's got like a 22-inch fucking neck. He's got a face. His head is like, oh my God. So I look at him. I said, "You ready to go, bro? Let's do it." He just looks at me. It's like he wants to eat me. He's got this fucking look. I don't know if he's pissed off. I'm looking at him. I said, "Oh my God, fuck." So he doesn't say a fucking word. He won't move. His teammate, I don't know who this guy is, says to me, "It's not a good time. He didn't have a good night last night." So I just looked at him. I don't want to tell him, "Hey, he can fucking talk for himself, something talky and I just looked at him. I said, "Not a problem." And I did my shift. And we didn't end up going. That's the truth. I didn't try and provoke him. I was intimidated. And that's a true fucking story. He just looked at me, wanted to eat me. He just looked fucking... And for someone to intimidate me, but I was. If he would have pushed me and hit one of my guys, it wouldn't have been a no-brainer. I'm going, but I did my shift, got on, and he did 1 or 2 shifts or 3. And so the next time we meet, I've been traded. I think I'm playing for Rivière-du-Loup. He's playing for Jonquière now, if I remember correctly, or some other team. And we go at it. I get on, he gets on. He comes up to me. He's different. I feel him different. What I want to get at, and this is important, because some guys after a year in the league or after 15 games, they change. Something about them, his aura, his whatever, his mystique about him is not there no more. And why I want to get to that is because I didn't find him as intimidating. I didn't find him. That would be the best way to describe it. Something about him changed. And when he asked me, I just looked at him and yeah, let's do it, you know. And we dropped. And for the first minute, he shook me like he's so strong, the guy, shaking me and hitting me with uppercuts and a few good shots. And I took him. I blocked him. He didn't get me flush. And I remember we went around the ice, halfway around behind the net, and I always had a good left hook. Usually I knock guys out with it in the ring. And I hit him with a fucking clean left hook. I was waiting for it, timed him, turned my chin. He hit me like in half in the throat and the chin, the shoulder, and I threw over the top with a left hook, hit him right in the jaw. And he buckled a bit, or he just shivered or buckled. And the guy, he said, enough. So I let him go. He let me go. But I sensed that I had a good, like the other one's coming right after. Like once you hit one good, your timing is in, you're fucked. I'll come in 3-4. Much like I did with Danik Lassard once. I popped him once. I missed him with a right. I nearly fell. I lost my balance. I came up through him a hook, Danik. And Danik fucking, his both legs buckled. And a boom, boom. 2 more rapid came in. He stopped. We stopped. Didn't make him look like a shit. The respect was there, and that's what I've been told in the league. When you say stop, you stop. That was it. So anyways, coming back to Link. So I stopped. We skated off, you know, and that was the best I ever did against Link, because the other 2 fights I had with him, he got the better of me. Like when he hits you, it's like hitting a nail in a piece of wood. It goes down an inch, another inch, another. He's just so powerful. Big, strong guy. He got me every time, except for that fight. So this is the important part that I would like you to know and your listeners about Link Gaetz, about the man he was and the man he ended up being when I ended up playing with him in Three Rivers. I came to Three Rivers, and it was the brothers who used to own Laval, the owners. I don't remember the name. But anyways, he had me in the front office. He says, we just we acquired Link Gaetz, and I would like you to stay close to him. And as I spoke English, and at the time I was doing meetings. To just throw it out there like that. I was doing AA meetings, and I was doing really good. So Link, I don't want to talk about that about him. Yeah, a little, you know, he liked to party a little too much. So, Jimmy, I want you to stay close to him, X, Y, Z. Okay, good, not a problem. So we're on the ice, and this is the only year that I went to the practices, because I lived in Lavaltrie, which is about 40 minutes from the Rivers. So I drive up and go to the practices, which were during the week. And Link was living there. They had him in the place, and they paid for, you know how it worked. The house and loves the guys. So we're doing the practice, and we're stretching. And he's beside me, and we're talking. And what I liked about him, which gave me a lot of confidence, he told me, remember the fight I told you when he was in Jean-Pierre? And I opened up, and I got him with a left hook. Okay?
Yeah.
He told me at that time, he says, when you hit me with that left hook, Jimmy, and I looked at him and I said, yeah, he says, you got to punch. You can fucking hit, bro. And that, coming from Link Gaetz, who fought Bob Probert, name him in the NHL because I've seen his fights. Like, my God. It's like, you know, wow. So I thanked him for that. But here's the part. He opened up to me, and I was talking about the movement and living a good, clean life and this, you know, sobriety and spirituality and all that stuff to him about me and my life and how it changed and X, Y, Z. And he told me openly, and we just met, not second or third time we got to practice. And he says, you know, Jimmy, he says, I'm not the man I used to be. He openly told me that. I said, yeah. I said, okay. And he said, you know, I don't have the confidence that I once had. He says, and I think he wanted to go on more, but we only stretched for about 5 minutes, you know, and then we started to do practice. Even for the tough guys, we do a few drills. So I remember him saying that to me. And so what I did is I talked to him more, and I tried to stay close to him. I don't know, I felt bad a bit. because I felt like you're trying to open up to me, tell me something. So that was the story with me and him, and eventually they traded him. But after that, I seen him fight, and Serge Roberge came, and he asked him a few times, and I seen Link refuse him. And he was after the period, first period or second. Roberge was playing for Serge, was playing for St. George the Beauce. It wasn't Mario, it was Serge. And I think they picked him up just for the rest of the season because we had Lincoln was playing him often. And I went with Serge a couple of times, but Link was the number one guy. If I can get the big bucks, you're going to go, right? And he refused him, and I had a fight, I don't know who would. I think it was Danik, because Danik was playing for them too. That's right. Danik, Serge, and some other guy. And me and Danik, anyways, I was out. But before that, what's his name? Another fighter we had, good player, went up to Link. He says, "Fucking Link, why aren't you fighting him?" And I was in the hallway, just stretching and relaxing in between periods while the coach is talking to the guys, and he give the tough guys a privilege sometimes, like fuck off, I don't need to here. So, and I told what the fuck's his name? I told him, hey, he said, Stan, it's not the time. Leave the fucking guy alone, because I could see he's not in something's bothering him. So I said, leave him alone. I was going to talk to him, but the guy didn't leave him alone. And what I'm trying to say mainly is that I think if we would have got the Link Gates of the NHL or very close to it, nobody would have been able to. I don't think. Because, fuck, I seen his tapes, and the guy, I'm listening to him and I could feel. So that, I know maybe it's not the story that the people want to hear about Link Gates, but at the end, when I seen him, when I met him, and he went on to play maybe for 2 years, I don't know, I don't remember exactly, I didn't follow. But everywhere he went afterwards, he did not stay long, the missing link, because certain problems I guess he had. But as a person, as someone to talk to, were the people, because I got really down to earth with him and about life and, everyday things. He was a nice guy to talk to. A bit rough at times, but... we're all not fucking angels, right?
Yeah.
And so he was. That's where he was at the time. Me and him talked, and where he was at, and that's what he told me. One guy and one tough guy to another tough guy. I'm not at my best. Pretty much, I've been better. I don't know what's going on, but I don't have that fucking killer instinct. He didn't say that, but that's what he's trying to tell me.
Yep.
And why he opened up to me, I don't know, Darren.
Yep.
I just talked to him about life and hey, and he said that to me right there, and I could sense it in the games. I could watch him play with the image he had and where it came from. I said, wait a minute, this guy's off. Something's wrong. That's what I had from him. And I hope if he ever hears this, he doesn't get mad. With all the respect, because it's not an easy job to do, and sometimes. What I'm getting is sometimes it's time to go, and we stay a year or two or more because we're addicted to the fans. We're addicted to the love we get from the game, and it's hard to close the door on that. All the love we get, the people, hey, how you doing? We love it. It's very, it's fun to get all that love and that respect and the attention. That's it, the attention you get from the fans. Well, to turn away from that, and the money, can't turn away from it. But the money's good. And you know what? We're good at it. We love it. When you win, everybody loves a winner.
Yep.
Hey, Darren?
Yep.
So that's my take on Link Gates as a fighter, as a human being. I say he's a good human being. I just, I didn't get to know him otherwise than that time.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. No, it's good. It's like an insight that people don't get, right? Because you only see as a fan, you only see the outside, right? You only see the player on the rink, right? So, no, that's great. I was gonna say, I know I'm keeping you long here, so I don't want to keep, I won't keep you for too much longer. But I do want to ask. I know in the mid, kind of like 04, 05, 06 in there, Quebec was really going through like the LNAH. Then there was like the AA, the AAA league, and they were kind of guys were like Bosse played in the AAA league there because I think they were trying to start bidding wars against the LNAH teams, and guys were bouncing around and going around for all the different Quebec leagues. When you were playing in that, then I guess what would you call it, the AAA league, whatever you want to call it, the AAA league, in like with the Mercenaries and those and the Pirates and those guys. Were those leagues? Because I'm looking at these leagues, and there were some dudes in that league too. Were those leagues like crazier than the LNAH?
Let me think back.
Like I was just sort of thinking like more just like kind of maybe brawls and kind of dirty shit and stuff. Or
I think it resembled when I first came in the league.
Yeah,
but I think maybe a little better. I think the hockey was a little better because I played. Don't forget, I was there. Yeah, I was playing with Jamie. I was playing with Justin. Mike Bro came down that league. A few other guys, big names. They ended up going back up. And that's when I went back up and I played with not Jason. I played with Marasti and Dean and at Sorel as like a part timer. But no, they were a little better than the semi-pro when I got in the semi-pro, and pretty crazy at times because bench clearance, depending who was that coach he fucking loved to clear the bench. Now he coaches for Jonquière, Bob Desjardins, I think his name was. And he would fucking clear that bench. We had Botsy, he had was it Paul Chance, Barabi. His fucking team was packed, bro. And I used to clear the bench. And me, I go all the time, but I was playing against him. But playing against him, and when I did play, listen, and he didn't give me shit, but because one of the teams I was playing for, they folded because the money wasn't good. So they traded me to them, and Bob was the coach. And they had a bench clearing, right?
Yep.
But fuck, man. I'm with a packed team. When I get on the ice, everybody's got someone. I didn't know who to grab. These fucking guys, I'm not going to clean their clock. They're not fighters. So he gave me shit in the room, I remember. He says, fuck, you got to grab. I said, Jay, tabarnak. I said, what does it give me to fucking clean the guy's clock when he's fucking, he can't. There's no way in hell he's going to try me. I'm going to look like a suspect. It's something you don't do. I never did. So sometimes I think it was unnecessary in that league. Bobby Betty, who he coached in Three Rivers, he was assistant coach to, I don't remember that, but Bobby, and I went there, and they cleaned the fucking bench again. Let's go. And I'm like, same thing. One guy don't want to go. We grab one guy, we tie off, right? And that was in that league. I think they wanted to fill the stands more at that time. And that's pretty much, if you look at my, I don't know when I retired, but came out of that league. But after that, I didn't go back to playing the other league. But the comparison, it was like the beginning of the semi-pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the 2001, 2, and 99, and the AAA, if you want to call. I compare that to then. They tried to fill in the stands with fights, but the quality of play was not like the LA.
Yeah, well, I know they were definitely throwing the money around because I mean, Bosse was down there and Joel Terrio was there and Bro and all those guys. Yourself, I mean, so they were trying to get the guys. And I can't remember who it was, but they said through another player was just saying, oh, the reason he's down there is he's using them for leverage with the LNAH team to get more money out of the LNAH team. And then the LNAH team came up with more money, and then he left the AAA team and went back up.
Well, when I went down there, Darren, they signing bonus 5 large ones, and plus 8 a game.
There you
play
go.
2 games a week. I'm working at the city. That's clear in my pocket.
Yep.
Like when you had big names like John, like John Morasti, and you had big names like Dean. At the time, too, Lenos, but not as big as them. But Lenos was a fucking he could fucking go, Jamie, and he filled the stands, and people loved this kid. He could fucking go. I mean, I went with him a couple of times, and I tell you, he clocked me good hands, good hitter, very technique, and open fighter sometimes. Justin was more big brawler, but Jamie could tie you up, and I seen him mess up Serge Roberge, tie him up, and he was good. But these guys were on the payroll. Guys like Dean and guys like John Morasti and Dean Moran, they were over the table, but they were getting fucking major money.
Yep.
You know, me, I'm making good money under, but you get the sticks, and you know how it goes, right?
Yep.
But these guys were over, and then they get unemployment, I guess, but they live their life like that, right? Whereas a blue collar is not the same. Like, say maybe they get $5,000 a game, but deductible, your insurance, your income taxes, and all that. So it's not. It's like maybe 2.5. I don't know. And I don't know the exact number. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know exact, but some guys were paid overboard, obviously, and some guys weren't. And everybody, they sign here and.
Yeah.
But,
well, to give people the idea. I mean, I know you and I talk, and I don't. If you don't want to, I could cut this out. But you don't have to say what team or whatever. But at your peak, what was the most you made per game?
Yeah, it was 8. 8. Yeah,
8 under?
One day.
Yeah.
8 usually, and not for when I was with Jean Pierre when they called me back up. For not when I was first there. They gave me 5, but they paid me a car, and I had a restaurant. So that's a lot of fucking money. You go to a restaurant, and I ate quality food all the time. They're paying me a car. I mean, maybe they got it on the arm. But at one time there, and then when they got Jason Hamilton came in, I know he got a big signing bonus. And Michel Dufault, who's the owner, one of the owners at the time, came up and said, "Jimmy, would you take a pay cut?" And you know what? Thinking back, I should have, because I had Jason, I had Corey Holland with me. I mean, fuck, these are 2 tough guys. And I would have been sitting with 2 tough guys. Would have been fucked. And I said no. And they traded me to Rivière du Loup. And where I made another 8, that was the most I ever made in my pocket, was in St. Marie de Beauce. That was the league just under the LH, the baby league of St. Georges de Beauce there.
Yeah.
And they gave me 8 plus a signing of $5,000. So I felt like a superstar. I mean, you're going from a guy, Darren. I stopped playing. I was 18, 19 years old. I started playing again. I mean, I play in tournaments because I worked for the city of Montreal. We'd have a garage tournaments where we, and the weekend, and we get all the guys who were firemen or police officers and blue collar workers, and we'd make a team. Usually the cops didn't play with us, but it was firemen and us. And then I'd play once a fucking year in a little league, put on my skates sometimes. Otherwise than that, I didn't play. So then I started playing again. I'm 32 years old. In the big boys, with guys that can skate, played in the fucking American League, that went to Europe, played in Europe, and I start playing. But it's a tough man's league. So I start to skate, I haven't, and I start to make a name, and then the money's coming. But my main job is my work at the city at the time. Now I'm in construction, but at the time I was a blue-collar worker. So, and I didn't play hockey much. So then I get all this attention and the love and all that from the fans. I fell in love with it. And I should have, I'll be honest with you, I should have stopped 2-3 years before, because I didn't have the aggression that I used to have going into a fight. Like Mike Bro had just till the end. How he did it all that time, maybe it was because of the booze, the dope I took. I don't know. But I've got to be honest. But when I was in my time, in my flame tab, I loved it, and the camaraderie that came of it. The guys after going at it, and some guys they can fucking go, and you gotta fight on your hands, and the respect that I know he has for me and that I have for him. You can't get that. You can't buy that. Any man, be it Dan Tice, Joel Theriault, Dean Dean Moran, John, Jamie Lenos, name him, Danik Lassard, who I had great fights with, these. I never fought John Morasti. We played it. We never had the opportunity to go. The guy you mentioned before, Swan.
My boy, Curtis Swanson, the cowboy.
Yeah. I mean, this guy I looked at him and I said, he's not that big of a guy. And he fucking went with all of them. So when we go, if I cross their paths afterwards, the respect, sometimes I just look at them and I wouldn't say a word because I got that hard face, that chin that we have, the Irish chin and that. I wouldn't give them a second look. But if they knew the respect I had for them, and if ever they needed a hand, unless you're a real fucking prick, cutthroat cocksucker, you're not going to get it. You never give you a hand. But there's not one of them. There's not one of them today. I wouldn't say, you know what, bro? Because I know what it takes to do that job. And you see the guys today with Messenger. I met Craig Martin, okay? And afterwards, we met. We fought a few times. Just think, this guy's big, strong, good hands, athletic. I mean, fuck yeah. And to see him outside of that, his role on the ice, which he did a tremendous job. What a fighter he was. I mean, Jesus. And the politeness, the respect he gave me, Yep. And he don't know me besides on the ice, but he knows I step up. When he says go, I remember he came to Three Rivers. I said, let's go. He says, you fucking serious? He didn't expect it from me, because we fought before, but I said, yeah, well, fuck, I got to go. This show, I got to play. He just looked and we went, and I did half decent, but he started opening up, and I said, oh, fuck. And anyways, it went well. And the respect afterwards from a guy who was being in the show, come down, does a job, and he intimidated a lot of guys, me included, before we dropped. I never said no, but fuck, man, I tell you, I'm like, okay, sabros. Inside it vibes, the vibe. And so in saying that, that's what I have for all these guys in the league at the end, when we're like 50 and 40 years old, and we're out of the game and we're living our lives. You got to respect these guys, and I do. And, maybe there's some more we didn't touch on, but loved it, and I miss it. And if I could do it over again, with the knowledge I have today, I'd do it tomorrow morning, because I loved it. I loved the rush. And I think the most thing that I miss, Darren, would be the challenge of one-on-one with another guy with respect. Let's do it. Let's see who's the boss tonight. Who's got to take care of my players. You better take a step back, or I'm gonna fucking. And they go, okay, let's go. You see, yeah, fuck you, Burns, and then we go. We step in and then we look at each other and oh fuck, I missed that. But I'm an older man. I couldn't do it if I wanted to today. But back then, bro, we do it without even thinking. Let's get her done. And what a feeling that was. What a rush. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that, folks. There we go. We can we'll wrap this. I want to thank you for your time, and as a fan, thank you for the battles and you guys, and that guy always said. So I was telling you before we got going. That's why I do this show you guys the respect and the wars that you guys went through. You and Dean and John and all those guys. And it's that's why this show is here, and that's why I wanted to get you on to tell your story. And I think the people are going to love it. I loved it. This is great. I could talk to you all night. I could hit you with names all night. We'll definitely have to do this again. I definitely want to get you back on. But Jimmy, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Wow, thank you so much. It was my pleasure, Darren. God bless you.
And you people that don't like fighting, how many of you did you walk out and get a coffee while that was on?